Hi, my name is Kyla, and I am welcoming you to the first ever episode of Hyperfixating. It's a show where I talk about whatever I want to talk about, and I give research, commentary, and really good jokes. So I hope you stick around for a while. For the first ever episode, I'm just going to be telling you a little bit about myself and what type of topics you can find on this channel and what you can expect. Without further ado, let's get into it. I'm Kyla. I'm as old as YouTube, and every week I obsess over a new topic, hence the name Hyperfixating. From sustainability to a particular movie from the 70s to random Greek and Roman history fun fact or voice. I'm a big history buff in general. I love learning, especially learning about things that don't pertain to a certain job or a certain skill set, but are just you knowing about the world. I'm also in love with theater and in love with acting, hence my obsession with that one 70s movie. So media in general has a big impact on my life, and I find it really fascinating the way it can change a person just a click from a TV show, and in general, and in the future, and hopefully change the world in the way we think about things. And so yeah, that's what you can that's pretty much who I am. I love vintage, I love media and acting and drama and general fun facts from history and science. So yeah. Okay, great. Now time from sponsor Kyla. Hyperfixation is sponsored by some of our greatest Middle Tennessee small businesses. The first one being Oasis Eye Care, who's run and owned by Dr. Goolsby. You can find their shop at this location, and you should stop by to take care of your beautiful eyes. Our next sponsor is Grady's Trolley. They do classic concessions. They also run events, and you can order them from catering, but you can find them easily at this location. Now, with all the exposition out the way, now moving on to some of my favorite fun facts that can serve as your next conversation starter. Coming in at number 1, bananas. I like bananas because they have no bones. No, but really, all of the bananas that you have eaten in your entire lifetime have been genetically the same. That's because, at least in America, we only eat one species known as the Cavendish something, yeah. And before this, unless you were born prior to the 1960s, because prior to the 1960s, everyone in America ate the Gros Michel. Hence why banana candy is sweeter, because the Gros Michel was sweeter. But unfortunately, it became extinct due to fungal infection. And that will likely be the fate of our beloved Cavendish, because there's already a blight going on all the farms, effectively making it extinct to mass produce and find at grocery shops. You can still find the Gros Michel at small specialty farms, and that's probably what's going to happen to our Cavendish. And we don't have a replacement, so enjoy your bananas while you can. Number 2, is my beloved fact about horseshoe crabs, because I think they're underrated. Horseshoe crabs are not only super ancient, but their blood is baby blue, and it's so pretty that's inspired paint chips and paint colors. Thus, it's become illegal to harvest because of its pretty color and how useful it is in the medical field. We use it for vaccines and a bunch of other research. I like horseshoe crabs because they're pretty, useful, and ancient. Next, more animals that I love. I love the octopi. It's a bizarre looking animal. It kind of looks like a fennec fox mixed with a zebra, but it's actually closely related to the giraffe. And the octopi, when it's first born, can walk in the first 30 minutes. but can't defecate for at least a month. So, what skills are for your 40? Speaking of giraffes, fun fact about giraffes, their reproduction lives are wild. The female giraffe produces a chemical in her urine that lets people know that she is ovulating and ready to mate. Thus, the male giraffe will nudge her in the backside and then drink her pee to see if she is able to have children. So, romantic. Now that you know, you can also start new conversations, but if anyone tries to prove you wrong, you have the confidence of knowing that your brain hates being wrong. In fact, your neurotransmitters flood your brain with the chemical cortisol whenever it feels like you're being threatened. And so when someone challenges you, it feels like your life is on stake. So your brain goes into instinctive mode and puts you into like fight or freeze mode, just like you were hunting or gathering or something, to prevent you from the shame of being wrong. So, anger management classes are something we can all take. Up next is one person who did really need to take anger management classes, which was Rockefeller. I like this fact, not because it's evil, but because it just shows that we make up society. Money, fake. Society, fake. Rockefeller made up the concept of trustees. Basically, a board of trustees is like a group of people who own a coalition of companies. And this didn't come about until early 20th century, late 19th century, because Rockefeller was monopolizing all the oil companies. And so he made this thing up because the US government was like, you can't really do that. And he's like, I don't own all these things. The board of trustees do. So, rags to riches, not really a thing. And we make up society, and we can make it what we want it to be. Speaking of more things that we make up, clothes, the concept of clothes, especially gender correlating with certain types of clothes. As I mentioned earlier, I love vintage fashion, and as such, I end up doing a lot of research on centuries way before I was born. Some of my personal favorite fashion comes from 1830s men fashion. Just admire, it's good, and it's amazing, and we should talk about it more. Harry Styles has nothing on the 1830s men of that time. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching the first episode of Hyperfixation. I hope you enjoyed, and go have fun conversations and thank a horseshoe crab and eat bananas. Bye. Okay.